We're honored to have Brenda Block here this morning, who is the chair of the Expo Center Advisory Board, and I've asked her to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance this morning.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Welcome to the Valentine's Day edition of the Shawnee County Board of Commissioners meeting. My name is Bob Archer. I currently serve as chair of the commission and represent District 3 alongside Commissioner Bill Rippon, who represents District 1, and Commissioner Kevin Cook, who represents District 2. Good morning, everyone.
Morning. Morning.
First item of business, please.
Item 3, consent agenda.
There were 4 items on the consent agenda. Are there any questions or comments?
I would move for approval as presented.
I'll second.
Motion made to approve the consent agenda by Commissioner Cook, seconded by Commissioner Rippon. All in favor say aye. Opposed, no. Motion carries 3-0. Next item, please.
Item 4, new business A, County Clerk number 1, consider all voucher payments.
Under multiple departments, Willis of Greater Kansas, Inc., totaling $387,098 is for the 2019 property insurance. Under Bridge Protection, Contech Engineering Solutions, LLC, $166,900 for deposit for the Southeast 29th Street Bridge over Deer Creek. Under Equipment Fund, Piping Contractors of Kansas, Inc., $23,502.60 is for the North Annex HVAC replacement. Under Detention Facilities, total is $417,386.59, which among other things includes payment to Horizon Health, Cotton O'Neill, Stormont Vale, Radiology, Nuclear Medicine, and AMR. As of February 13th, 2019, total vouchers of $2,013,205.17. And I move that we approve the vouchers.
Second.
Motion made to approve the vouchers by Commissioner Rippon, seconded by Commissioner Cook. All in favor say aye. Opposed, no. By Commissioner Rippon. All in favor say aye. Opposed, say no. Motion carries 3-0. Next item, please.
Item B, Kansas Expo Center number 1, presentation regarding Kansas Expo Center's financial report for fiscal year 2018.
Good morning, Commissioners. Kellen Seitz, Inspector of Venue Management in the Kansas Expo Center. We've been anticipating this meeting for a week now. I can tell you the amount of sleep I got last night was minimal. But we are excited to present our first operating year full financial report. Some of this report at the end gives a snapshot of our operation for the last 16 months, which is how long Spectra has been managing the venue there at Kansas Expo Center. So I'll jump right in. FY18 revenues came in just shy of our budgeted number, but still over that $2 million mark, which is where we were targeting. Some of that was due to some rent revenue credits that were no longer being recognized in the management contract, which is why we adjusted that revenue benchmark earlier or late 2018. So the event revenue side came in over budget at $1.7 million, and other revenues accounted for about $300,000 there as well. The big savings was our indirect expenditures. So we came in about $141,000 under budget, which is a positive variance for expenditures at the Kansas Expo Center. That all came about from operational efficiencies, some of the cost savings that we recognized from increased infrastructure in our HVAC system and replacement, our boiler repairs. So real happy with those numbers. We were actually also able to increase our staffing levels, which increased that indirect expenditure to our staff allocation, but we were able to make up some of that cost difference through other recognized savings throughout our indirect expenses. One of the big things that we talk about in our presentations to you weekly is the focus and directive that you gave us during the RFP process. The focus and directive kind of honed in around the sales and marketing aspect of the Kansas Expo Center. One thing we've been very proud to achieve this year has been our corporate partnerships growth. What our corporate partnerships program is our opportunity to leverage brand awareness and sponsorship potential and opportunity inside the Kansas Expo Center to our business community in Shawnee County and Topeka. What we've been able to achieve this year is no short of amazing. We've been able to account for about $322,000 in actual revenue from that business segment. Just to give you a highlight, and it'll be on the last page, the previous record year, I think was set back in 2012, was about $98,000. So we're nearly tripled that in our first year of operation. So very proud of our department and our department heads who head up that segment of our business and what we've been able to achieve there. This slide is probably the most important one and the one I'll spend some time focusing on. I apologize, my spreadsheet and graphs are no comparison to Betty Griner's, but that's not my area of expertise. One thing I wanted to focus on is the red column and the green column. So the red column represents fiscal year 17 actual tax dollar allocation from the county for operation of the Kansas Expo Center. That FY17 allocation was developed by the previous management company, and it exceeded $1.44 million. During our RFP process, we came to you with a number of promises, one of which was we could operate the facility at a much lower rate and taxable subsidy to Shawnee County taxpayers. So our FY18 budget, which is the green column, is where we had promised that we would make that adjustment. From $780,000 to $1.44 million, and really rough math is nearly half of the operating subsidy in 1 year. We are happy to report that not only did we meet that goal, but we beat that budget figure by about $72,000 in fiscal year 18. That accounted for a savings of more than half of the previous operational subsidy in 2017. On this next slide, we're going to talk about a little bit of how Spectra's management has impacted not only Shawnee County, but the operation of the Kansas Expo Center. Partnerships revenue, again, is one of the focuses that we spent a lot of time on over these past 16 months. And in our first 16 months of management, we've been able to recognize $375,000 in revenue. Again, highlighting that the previous record was set 5 years ago at $98,000. So again, nearly quadrupling that in a 16-month time frame. The operating budget reduction and how this impacts Shawnee County taxpayers, and I think everybody in this room is probably one of them, is how we reduce those tax allocation dollars from operating the facility, keeping the lights on, and being reallocated back out into the community and the county through other tax-funded programs. During that time period, FY16's operating budget allocation from the previous management group was $1.2 million. The FY17 operating budget was 1.36, and that's backed out some of the incentive fees that we wanted to compare apples to apples in our contracts, creating a savings of over $500,000 just on the budget allocation piece, not on actual results. That bottom figure is the actual results. So versus actual results and the tax allocation subsidy for the facility, Spectra has been able to recognize over $800,000 in savings to Shawnee County taxpayers in the first 16 months. Those are hard physical dollars that were previously being allocated that again now can go back out into other Shawnee County funded programs And some of the ways that we've been able to do this, I've talked about through our partnerships revenue and our operational efficiencies. But one other thing I really wanted to focus on was our marketing aspect. So part of the focus, again, coming into management of the facility was how do we get more attraction? How do we get more brand awareness for the events that we host at the Kansas Expo Center? And how do we get more of our community to show up and participate? What we've seen through some of those events and really kind of how we judge the baseline of how our marketing is performing is on reoccurring events. So some of the reoccurring events that we host that you probably are familiar with are things like Blizzard Bash and Capital City Carnage, our two major demolition derbies that we host at the facility. The Arab Shrine Circus, some of our trade shows. What we've been able to do in this 16-month time period is really leverage our marketing relationships with our media contacts within the community, but also leverage our marketing relationships on a national level in order to take over some of those marketing services that were being provided by event producers and promoters in the past. And the change and the shift that we've seen from that are our event revenue, bottom line revenue growth on a number of events that exceed 35%. 35% might not seem like a whole lot, but when it's 35% of nearly $200,000 on each of those events, it makes up for significant revenue increases. So we've been chomping at the bit to get this presentation in front of you, and we're really excited that we've been able to not only meet those goals that we set out and told you that we would meet, and promises that we made 16 months ago, but continue to surpass those expectations. So we're really excited to get started in fiscal year 19. We've got some great content coming down the pipeline with Cirque du Soleil and Disney on Ice coming back in April, with one new anchor tenant coming up and getting ready to announce in the next couple weeks and go on sale with their season tickets, and a renewed contract of our current hockey tenant in the facility. So a lot of that and all of those pieces, quite frankly, go into what we've been able to achieve. One last thing I wanted to mention is, all of this is great, but we really couldn't do this unless all of our team members at the Kansas Expo Center bought into the system, bought into the culture that we were trying to represent, and really took ownership of their management directives and their direct departments in which they operate. I'm happy to report that we've been able to really rally the troops behind the vision on where we want to go, and we're really excited to present FY19's financial report back to you here in about another 12 months that continues to show this operating deficit reduction. Happy to take any questions that you might have now.
Any questions or comments for Kelly? Commissioner Cook.
Commissioner Archer and I went on the intercity visit to Des Moines 2 years ago. And as we toured the facility in Des Moines, which is also a Spectra-operated facility, the GM made the comment that the facility actually generated revenue for the county, and I think that Commissioner Archer said, what an odd concept. And so
I said something like that.
and I think that we see that with a management company that is very proactive in advertising and promotion and drawing people back to the Expo Center, we're seeing that change. I don't know that we'll get to a generating revenue back for the county, but definitely we're headed in the right direction. Sure. So thank you for all your hard work.
Thank you.
Anyone from the public like to make any comments? Okay. Thank you, Kellen.
Thank you, Bob.
Obviously, job well done. And I hope that's the headline on our news media tonight is, not a negative story, but a positive story on the Expo Center and what we've done and what you've accomplished, and the recognition of your team. I hope that's highlighted in the media today.
Thank you, sir.
Again, thank you. Next item, please.
Item C, Parks and Recreation. Number 1, consider, consider approval of request to advertise and fill a vacant recreation leader sports position at a salary including benefits of $46,072, to fill a vacant adult sports manager at a salary including benefits of $49,920, and to reclassify, advertise, and fill a vacant outcomes program assistant at a salary including benefits of $46,072.
Morning, Commissioners. Olivia Mayer, Parks and Recreation. The actions requested is to fill 3 vacant positions. One of them does include a reclassification. Human Resources and Parks and Rec work together to make sure that that description aligned with that position. It does not change any of the range or the step. It's just the position, this description actually matches what we need this person to be doing. I'd like to answer any questions you might
Very
have.
good. Are there questions for Olivia? Yes, Commissioner Cook.
It seems that Parks and Rec really on almost every year or every other year has been before the commission, changing the structure of the organization, the job titles. Can you talk to us a little bit about why that is happening so frequently, why we're doing that, and what this action today is really reflective of?
Well, these positions have been vacant due to either somebody leaving or, of course, promotions. But we have found what we want to do is work with HR. We've become quite close. Just actually looking at position descriptions and really connecting, having the supervisors look at them so that every employee knows their expectations and that they have a chance to realize what their goals and objectives are while they work for us at Shawnee County Parks and Rec. So that's kind of why we're going through these a little by little, trying to figure out what the best way for us to be able to function the highest level we can.
Thank you.
Good answer. Good answer.
Could you tell me what an outcome program assistant
Yeah.
actually does?
So that position is going to be helping in our asset management. So they will be helping with cartograph, looking at those numbers, helping our guys who are entering that information so that we can track the projects, work orders, all of those things.
Any other questions or comments? I'll make a motion to approve the request.
Second.
Motion made to approve by Commissioner Archer, seconded by Commissioner Cook. All in favor, say aye. Opposed, say no. Motion carries 3-0.
Thank you.
Well done, Olivia. Next item, please.
Item C2, consider approval of Lake Shawnee closings and restricted uses for 2019 necessary for preparation and operation and concluding special events and trout stocking held on Lake Shawnee waters.
Good morning, Commissioner. Sean Osborne, Parks and Recreation. The item before you is one that we bring to you every year. That is where we close the lake at different times throughout events or the trout, and that's just following the resolution that's in there. I'd be happy to answer any questions. I will say there is a typo. It should be Thursday instead of Wednesday for Spirit of Kansas. So I'd be happy to answer any questions on that item.
Questions or comments for Shawn Osborne?
Move for approval.
I'll second.
Motion made to approve by Commissioner Cook, seconded by Commissioner Rippon. All in favor say aye. Opposed, no. Motion carries 3-0. Next item, please.
Item C3, consider approval of a project budget totaling $118,605 with funding from excess revenue funds for the Lake Shawnee Girls Field Number 1 bleacher replacement.
Good morning, everyone. Sean Osborne, Parks and Recreation. This item is an IMP project that has been brought to you guys to replace the bleachers at our main diamond at the Lake Shawnee Girls Softball Complex. Those bleachers have been in place for probably close to 30 years in the late 90s, and they need to be replaced in order to stay in compliance with ADA. Also, this will attract more different things that we can bring to the venue site there at Lake Shawnee.
Yes, Commissioner Cook.
Is this being done in conjunction with the replacing of the turf and the other work that we have on the girls' fields?
You mean separate?
Yeah.
This is going to go out for RFP on its own, but the turf and all that will go out for RFP as well.
But is this part of that same project?
That's what we're looking at, yes, to
So-
replace.
So this is overall, I mean, this is one part of improving that entire complex for the girls softball.
Yes, yes.
Okay. So just making sure that we're looking at that in conjunction with, while we're taking up this one item. So
Yeah, excellent point.
I'll make a motion to approve.
I'll second.
Motion made to approve by Commissioner Cook, seconded by Commissioner Rippon. All in favor, say aye. Opposed, no. Motion carries 3-0. Next item, please.
Item C4, consider approval of a project budget totaling $65,781 with funding from excess revenue funds for stormwater improvements and adding an ADA-compliant walkway and ramp handrail at Adventure Cove.
Good morning again, Commissioner Shawn Osborne, Parks and Recreation. The item before you is an item that we have worked on probably for the last few months to try to get the design work and everything put together for this. This project did go through the IMP committee. I do have a small slide presentation, but this is actually to help control some of the maintenance issues we have at the Lake Shawnee Adventure Cove. That's why we have the stormwater project going on, because we lose every time we get a big, huge storm. Sand just goes back in, and we need to go back in and replace and do various things. The ADA sidewalk portion of it, that is a direction we needed to go. I can bring this one. This kind of gives you a little bit of the bearings of the project of where we're at. The yellow portion is where a lot of this project will take place on site. And as you can see in this section here, this portion right here is existing concrete that we had at the cove. And it's basically, with working with PEC and when they came out, this was not ADA. So this portion will be taken out, will be corrected. We have the ramp rail system for ADA, and as you can see, we have made modifications through the last couple of months to take this sidewalk to catch all the way around to give ADA access, because before we did not have that at the cove, and with that comes the storm water. This will catch the water that comes down. It will feed out to the east into the lake portion, instead of just coming straight down onto the beach and washing everything back in into the water. This portion of it right here shows you guys the ADA ramp and the plan and profile of how that will come off as you come down into the cove and you veer off to the left and come out towards where we have the paddle boats and all of the stuff that we refurbished a year ago. So with that, I'd be happy to answer any questions, and if you do have any technical questions, I have Bob Koopman with PEC that has worked on this project with us as well.
Very good. Are there questions for Shawn? Yes, Commissioner Cook.
Sean, I'm very happy to see that you're complying with the ADA. As Commissioner Rippon knows, there's a lot of our park facilities that are not ADA compliant, and we've really worked hard to try and identify those ADA deficiencies to try and get them up to speed, because all our participants, regardless of their capabilities or handicaps, should be able to enjoy our amenities. And so I'm glad to see that we're addressing that with Lake Shawnee, addressing making sure our walkways are ADA compliant and up to where they should have been long ago. So really appreciate that work, and also to make sure our sand doesn't keep going out. Maybe maintain our beach a little bit better. So, but this looks like a good project and a good use of those excess funds, or the excess funds.
I have no comment.
Oh, okay.
I move for approval.
I'll second.
Motion made to approve the project budget by Commissioner Cook, seconded by Commissioner Rippon. All in favor say aye. Opposed, no. Motion carries 3-0. Next item, please.
Thank you.
Thank you, Shawn.
Item C5, consider authorization and execution of the following contracts for treatment of noxious weeds with a recovery rate of 100%. I'm not done.
Go ahead.
Remember? After the meeting. A, Contract C82-2019 with Auburn Township. B, Contract C83-2019 with Kaw River Drainage District. C, Contract C84-2019 with Kansas Department of Transportation. D, Contract C85-2019 with Minokan Township. E, Contract C86-2019 with Mission Township. F, Contract C87-2019 with Soldier Township. G, Contract C88-2019 with Tecumseh Township. H, Contract C89-2019 with Topeka Township. I, Contract C90-2019 with Tri-County Drainage District. And J, Contract C91-2019 with Wakarusa Watershed District Number 35. Take it away, John.
Morning, thank you, Ms. Beck, for reining John in. That's usually Betty's job.
We like to work together on that.
Okay.
Good morning, Commissioners. John Knight, Parks and Recreation. These are annual weed agreements that John Wellborn and the Noxious Weed Division negotiate with the different entities to control their noxious weeds. I will say that we are still in the process of identifying what are all of our true costs, but these contracts do recover 100% of what we've identified now. So they may continue to go up or go down in future years, but
they're fully allocated costing.
Yes.
Okay. I'll make a motion to approve.
Second.
Motion made by Commissioner Archer to approve, seconded by Commissioner Rippon. All in favor say aye. Opposed, no. Motion carries 3-0. Thank you, John.
Thank you, Commissioner.
Next item.
Item D, Public Works Solid Waste. Number 1, consider approval of resolution numbers 2019-9 through 2019-11, authorizing the transfer of unobligated 2018 Public Works funds into the Special Bridge Account, Special Machinery Account, and the Special Highway Improvement Account.
Good morning, Commissioners. Kurt Neos, Director of Public Works and Solid Waste. I'm here before you for my annual request to transfer unobligated, maybe unused funds to Special Bridge, Special Machinery, and Special Highway Improvement. These funds are then used to buy equipment to use on small bridge replacement projects or other highway improvement projects, i.e. Southeast 29th, et cetera. In the resolutions, I show an amount. That is an upper amount, a maximum that could be transferred. The actual amount transferred will be less than that. And I noted in the written statement that there's no financial impact because we're just transferring funds from one account to another. But I might also add that when Betty did her report on Monday, she accounted for that transfer in her report for Public Works. So this is not a shock. This is nothing that'll surprise anyone. Betty's already accounted for the transfer. And so with that, I guess, any questions?
Are there questions for Mr. Niehaus today?
I move that we approve the resolution.
Second.
Motion made to approve by Commissioner Rippon, seconded by Commissioner Cook. All in favor say aye. Opposed, no. Motion carries 3-0. Thank you, Kurt. Next item, please.
Item E, Health Department. Number 1, consider approval of out-of-state travel for 2 women, infants, and children WIC staff members to attend a national WIC education conference at a total cost of $3,594 with funding from the 2019 WIC and Health Department budgets.
Good morning, Commissioners. Linda Oakes from the Health Department. We send staff to this annual conference every year, and I can tell you it's one of the better conferences we get to attend. We get a lot of great ideas for our own program, and I think the best one was our next day scheduling. We went several years ago and heard about other WIC agencies in the country that were doing this. We used to make appointments 3 months out. I don't even know what I'm doing 3 months out, and I don't have small kids. So it seemed genius to us to be able to schedule people today, tomorrow, and maybe the next day. And so we've had that for several years. It's been very successful, and other counties in Kansas have replicated our program. So we're hoping there's another great idea out there for us at the WIC conference. The 2 people we are wanting to send are both fairly new to WIC, and one of them is a division manager now overseeing WIC. And I think it's a great chance for her to just get immersed in WIC, to hear WIC talk for 3.5 days and really learn about the program. I know I benefited the year I went. And just to tell you a little bit about WIC, WIC is a nutrition education program for pregnant women infants and children up to the age of 5. They get nutritious food through a card system and nutrition education. And in 2017, WIC generated $2.7 million for our retailers here in Shawnee County, so it does have some economic benefit. Overall, WIC is studied. It's a national program, so it's studied a lot. Half of all babies born in Shawnee County are on WIC, and half of all babies nationally are on WIC. So also, in recent studies, excuse me, in Ohio and Kansas, found a lower infant mortality rate among WIC participants than non-participants, and the gains were especially striking for African Americans. So I think it's very important as we talk about health equity. And also, new research shows that children whose mothers participated in WIC while they were pregnant scored higher on assessments of mental development at age 2, and also those children of those mothers performed better on reading assessments when they were in school. So great program, and I'd be happy to answer any questions. It is covered in our WIC budget, and it's completely paid out of our WIC grant.
Questions, comments? I'll move to approve and look forward to the trip report.
You bet.
That they'll provide when they come back.
I'll second.
Motion made to approve by Commissioner Archer, seconded by Commissioner Rippon. All in favor say aye. Opposed, no. Motion carries 3-0. Thank you, Linda.
Thank you, Commissioner.
Next item, please.
Item F, corrections. Number 1, consider approval of request to fill an accountant 2 position at a higher step, range 16, step 4, resulting in a salary including benefits of $66,115.71.
Good morning, Commissioners. Brian Cole, Shawnee County Department of Corrections. Late last year, the Board of County Commissioners approved the Shawnee County Department of Corrections to post, advertise, and fill our vacant Accountant 2 position due to a retirement that we did set up an interview board, and I first want to say thank you to Betty that we thought it was very important and necessary to involve her staff in the interview process and helping us select. We always like to reach out to the other departments and helping us make good decisions for the department, and also is going to work well in the county. So I first want to say thank you to Betty. With that, we had a very good competitive process, and after selection, we would like to select Chelsea Franken. She came to us fairly highly referenced and regarded by both the interview team and references who also work in the accounting department and in through the county. So we did a proficient background check. That in looking at the qualifications and the attributes that Ms. Franken brought to us, I did work with Betty and I did work with Angela Lewis regarding the process of starting her on step 4. It is still under budget of what we budgeted for this position earlier. This is not a new position. The funds are available in our operating budget, and I would stand for any questions that you may have.
Questions for Brian Cole this morning?
Move for approval.
Second.
Motion made to approve the request by Commissioner Cook, and that was seconded by Commissioner Rippon. All in favor say aye. Opposed, no. Motion carries 3-0. Next item, please.
Item F2, consider authorization and execution of contract C92-2019, a memorandum of agreement with the 3rd Judicial District Court for use of designated facilities during a disaster requiring activation of the Continuity of Operations Plan.
Good morning, Brian Cole, Shawnee County Department of Corrections. In working with Dusty Nichols Emergency Management in our COOP plan, part of that and included in our accreditation is setting up memorandums of understanding and agreements with surrounding departments within the county and other jails, which there have been some already approved. We still have a few others coming. But this allows us to reach out to our partners in the event that there is some type of physical plant damage to the Department of Corrections to work with the 3rd Judicial District to help us continue our continuity of business, to help with space and operations. I did work with the court administrator, Ms. Welch, on this, and they worked with the courts as well. But this is a good, positive agreement that we have with the courts, and I would be happy to answer any questions you may have.
Questions for Brian on this contract?
Move for approval.
Second.
Motion made to approve the contract by Commissioner Cook, seconded by Commissioner Rippon. All in favor say aye. Opposed, no. Motion carries 3-0. Thank you, Brian.
Thank you, sir.
Next item, please.
Item G, Commission Number 1, acknowledge that Commissioner Archer is reappointing Lynn Gentine to the Community Action Board.
I'll make a motion to acknowledge the good decision to reappoint Lynn Gentine to the Community Action Board. She's just done a wonderful job and is a true asset to our community, and I'm pleased that she has agreed to continue to serve. So that's a motion.
Second.
Motion to acknowledge by Commissioner Archer, seconded by Commissioner Rippon. All in favor say aye. Opposed, no. Motion carries 3-0. Next item, please.
Item 5, Administrative Communications.
This is an opportunity for department heads or any member of the public to address the commission, and your time is not limited at all.
Well, I won't go on and on. Cindy Evans with Shawnee County Extension. Good morning, Commissioners. I know that not everybody in the public probably realizes that our extension education programs are guided by locally elected patrons who serve on advisory committees, and my program area is community development. When my advisory met in January, grants are available to them to rebuild infrastructure, to help build their cultural identity, and underlying with the strengthening of that, hoping that economic development, will come their way. And so we have set up a meeting that you are invited to attend by Zoom, as well as the public. 2 weeks from today, we have guest speakers Debbie Beck from Community Development Block Grants and Jessica Bowser with USDA Community Development are going to share the array of resources that they have that can be beneficial to many of our incorporated rural communities, but also some of them might be available to some of our unincorporated communities, of which we've got about 6 of those in Shawnee County as well. So it's in the evening from 5:30 to 6:30, but it is a Zoom, so you can just connect from your home by a link. It just comes up as an invitation in your computer, so anybody can participate, and it will be recorded so that if that date's not a good time for you to listen in, and I find I've heard this presentation one, but it will benefit me to hear it a second time, so you can listen into it again. So if anybody is interested, they can contact me at the Shawnee County Extension Office so I can send the link to them. C. Evans, ksu.edu, or our phone number here in Topeka, 232-0062. Thank you.
Very good. Thank you, Cindy.
Good morning, Commissioners. Kellen Seitz, Spectrum of Revenue Management in Kansas Expo Center. Last update, I promise. This weekend we have the RV and Sports Show going on in X Hall. That starts Friday, runs through Sunday. And then we also have the Arab Shrine Circus Friday through Sunday, 5 performances as well. So that event goes to benefit Shriners Hospital. So make sure you come on out and enjoy some activities with us.
Very good.
Thank you.
Thank you, Kellen.
Good morning, Commissioners. Mike Augustine with Shawnee County Human Resources. Human Resources has been very closely working with Parks and Rec, looking forward to warmer times coming up. We posted all of the summer jobs for the Parks and Recs department. These are mostly all intermittent positions used to fill our ball fields and our pools and our sports and amenities across the county. Those positions posted on February 1st, and they are available out on the Shawnee County website for hiring. I would like to also make an announcement that we've been partnering with several of the area schools, and we hosted an event at the Topeka Workforce Center this past week. We will be back at the Topeka Workforce Center with Parks and Rec on Monday, February 18th, and also again on Thursday, February 21st, taking applications there live on the Topeka Workforce Center systems for these summer parks jobs.
Good report. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes, Commissioner Cook.
Before you go, just if we could post with the Greater Topeka Partnership and specifically the Youth Commission, our summer openings. I know that the Youth Commission has been very active in recruiting and reaching out, and this would be a good opportunity for us to get some youth involved with Shawnee County.
Excellent.
Thank you.
Good.
This Saturday, I will be taking part in the College Hill Chili Cook-Off as a judge. We'll see how my taste buds react, and we report back on Monday.
We'll look forward to that. Commissioner Rippon.
Oh, well, being the new kid on the block, I'm still touring different county facilities. And this week I had a chance to go with Brian Cole over to the Shawnee County Jail. I was impressed with the operation, the cleanliness, the facility itself. But I was most impressed with the staff. I sat at one table, there was 7 of the key staff there, and I think combined there was like 140 years of experience right there, and that speaks volumes for your department. And experience like that you can't buy or you're not born with, and you earn it. So that's very good. So
Was elected to the commission, and yeah, we do a good job, a very difficult job in the Shawnee County Jail. You'll be commended over and over again, Mr. Cole. I don't have anything else other than happy Valentine's Day, everyone. Watch out for the weather. And that's it. Next item, please.
Item 6, executive session.
There's not a need for an executive session, so we're adjourned, and thank you all for coming this morning.